Hey, so what's going on, people? Yeah, man, I'm back. So on Tuesday is gonna be me, most likely by myself, giving you all my thoughts on the weekend and the week that was, and what's been going on in my house and in my life and all that good stuff. And on Thursdays, most likely, I'm gonna have my boy Jonathan Vallejo joining me, aka GW. Not gonna tell you guys right now what that means, so you have to tune in on that Thursday episode. I'm sure he's gonna love that I brought that up. He hates that initial, and I hate the fact that I don't know where it originated from. Like, it's kind of weird to think that I've known this kid for 25 years and I don't know where he got that nickname. And I didn't give it to him, which is just wrong because I feel like I'm that asshole friend that like gives people nicknames. And so I call him a kid because he's been the same height as long as I've known him. Like, he's been 5'3", 5'4". He's going to say 5'5", 5'6", but just know that when it's on video, he's most likely going to be sitting on phone books. All right? So today I want to talk to you guys about politics and why I don't discuss it anymore by myself and go on those rants, because I've realized it took me a while, right? Years of like my friends telling me, yo man, stop arguing, it's pointless. And I finally realized that it is. Like, there's not going to be a point when I'm talking to a pro-lifer, right, to make them understand why a woman has the right to do whatever the fuck they want to do with their body. I'm never going to talk to a pro-gun advocate, and mind you, I'm a gun owner. Why, man, maybe we should do a little bit more than the nothing we've been doing in thoughts and prayers. Like, none of that is ever going to come across. So I've just been throwing a cement ball against a concrete wall. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't been, nothing, no idea has been changed, no opinion has changed, because whoever that is, and I'm guilty of it as well, right? Like, I'm not here trying to tell you that, like, I know all the answers and I know everything and I have all the answers for all the questions. I don't know 95% of most shit, right? I'm just trying to give a different perspective and trying to make them hopefully see, give them the A Time to Kill perspective, right? If you remember ever seen the movie A Time to Kill, it was at the ending scene. Spoiler: the movie came out like 20 years ago, though, right? Like, you should have seen it by now, and if you haven't, I'm sorry. It's about to get spoiled right now. So in the last scene, Matthew McConaughey is giving a speech to the jury, where Samuel L. Jackson killed two people that beat up and raped his daughter, with like threw coke cans at her face, broke her face, and his daughter was like 5 years old or some shit. And so he's giving a speech to, I think it was Mississippi, somewhere in the South. And he's giving the speech to the crowd and goes, close your eyes. And he describes everything that little girl went through. And then it was an all-white jury, right? Which is weird because you're supposed to be a jury of your peers, but whatever, it's the South. And it's a movie. So, so they talk, she's giving, Matthew McConaughey giving the whole description. He goes, nah, imagine she was white. So then that's when there's almost like an audible gasp in the jury and in the crowd, because it's like in this almost like arena type courtroom. It was weird. They had like the upper side, like they had the nosebleeds, like the people who couldn't afford to sit on the floor. It was weird. So that's always the perspective I try to give. But I've realized it took me, was it 2015 it all started, then 20, so about 3.5, 4 years for me to get it through my thick ass head that like, people really don't want to see the other side on a lot of things, right? Like, there's things I've changed my mind on. There's things that I don't agree with people. Let's say, like, because if you want to describe me as anything or put me on any side, it's almost like if you want to put that identity on me, I'd be on the left side, right? I'm not that conservative. I'm not a person who likes to tell women what to do with their bodies and so on and so forth. And I'm honestly not that religious, right? Like, so I believe in God. I believe in good and evil, because I've seen evil, so there's got to be a good side of it. So I've gotten sick and tired of it, man. Like, going back and forth. I'm not gonna say any names of the people I've argued with, but it's like people that I consider my friends or associates. You know what I mean? That like it gets exhausting, bro. Like if I can't even like, yo man, but he broke the rule. Like, this person broke the rules. Yeah, but bro, like, there's laws and rules and you know what I mean? Like, all these different things of why this is not the right thing to do, and you want to excuse that because that's a person that agrees with you, or that's a occupation that agrees with you, or that you work. Like, I just don't understand that. Like, wrong is right is right. Like, there isn't nuance. If something is written in black and white and goes, yo, you can't do this, and then you're like, yeah, but dude, like, the economy, you know what I mean? Like, it's exhausting. Like, it defeats the purpose, and it just taking up way too much time. Like, I'm arguing people who don't want to empathize or see perspective from the other side. Like, for what? Like, it got exhausting, man. Like, That's as far as social media and everything. Like, come on my podcast, that's fine. Like we can hash it out because maybe we could give some nuance. But giving the back and forth on social media and writing these essays, it's just gotten exhausting. And my thumbs have way better things to do, like play FIFA. Shout out to FIFA 20 coming out in 2 weeks, baby. Playing that demo today, Volta. I suck at that game. It's like I never played FIFA 19. That shit is crazy. The dribbling and the passing, whatever. I mean, like I just don't want to do it anymore. Like it's gotten exhausting. And then me ranting on here by myself, like I'm only giving you one perspective. That's not genuine. That's if anything, I'm not gonna say it's disingenuous, but I'm just giving you my side of it. You know what I mean? There's in most things that aren't a law or anything of that nature. There's always three sides of it, right? Like my side, your side, and the truth. Like I'd much rather have discussions and conversations with people like I did last week, with my boy Cam, that you give two perspectives and you have a conversation. That's when you can really hash down what the opinions on people are and things like that. So that's just kind of something I want to stay away from in my podcast for the most part, because I realize it's exhausting. It's taxing. It's everywhere. Like it's just like do I want to go on the rant of to use a Sharpie, to not use a Sharpie? Yeah, I do. You know what I mean? Because it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what a Sharpie is used for other than to cross shit out. You know what I mean? After I've done my grocery list, like I wouldn't put that on a map. You know what I mean? Like, but do I want to do that? There's parts of me that does. But then, are people really that dive that deep into it the way I would? Probably not. And then it's just I don't want to get into the weeds of stuff. People might they might lose what I'm talking about. If they don't know that specific argument or that specific article and all this shit, and it just gets to be too much, man. Yeah, but I know I've talked about that before in previous podcasts, but since I'm doing video now, just wanted to give you the video perspective so you can see what I'm talking about and see kind of my expressions behind it and how I feel about it. It's just gotten to be too much, right? Like I'm sick of it, man. Like I won't share memes on some social media about anything political. I won't, unless they're funny. You know what I mean? Not anything like where I'm bashing one side or the other. I'm just like, if it's funny, it's funny. It's a meme. But I'm not gonna like go on rants anymore. For the most part, you know what I mean? For the most part, I'm gonna stick to like dog videos and memes and GIFs or GIFs, however you want to pronounce it. I'm a equal opportunity word user, right? That kind of makes sense. But yeah, man, I just don't want to do it anymore. Besides, this weekend was exhausting enough. Emotionally, it was just too much. Friday with the USA, if you watch soccer, the USA played Mexico on Friday. So I've rewatched that game one other time just because it's pretty hard to watch. And it makes me mad, right? Like, we looked for a sport that the rest of the world plays, for a country that, for the most part, has the best athletes in every other sport. Why we can't figure out how to put a solid 11 on the pitch or on the field to even be competitive, right? Like, obviously there's countries that have light years ahead of us, right? As far as technique, as far as how long they've been playing it and all this stuff. So we need to start bringing some of those, obviously. We need to start bringing some of those older players that are retired to like almost teach us, man. Because Mexico built a wall around us in that game, but we were outclassed at every level. We had one player on that whole pitch that was the 12th best player, and that's Pulisic, like Christian Pulisic for the USA team. Other than that, like, it wasn't even competitive. Like, they had this guy Tecatito, right, that was playing right wing. Yeah, he was playing right wing. And he looked a little bit heavy, right? Like, if you look at soccer players, they tend to be like, and you pretty short and very lightweight, usually under like 175, 180 pounds, because you're running around for 90 minutes. I can't run around for 90 seconds. Okay, let's just keep it 100 here. And so these are guys that are in incredible shape, and they have one guy that looked a little bit out of shape that just roasted us. Like, yo, if this pudgy bastard is killing us, and he might be a great player, never seen him play before. I don't know where he plays. Probably should have looked that up, but honestly, I'm not going to look him up. Don't care, because I'm only going to talk about Mexico on this podcast when they're playing USA. I'm not going to go out of my way to see them play Brazil. Like, I'm just not that guy. Like, I'm going to watch. I'm very much so a soccer fan, a football fan, but I go out of my way to watch my teams, not just a random MLS team on a Thursday. That's not some shit I'm gonna do. I don't even know if MLS plays on a Thursday. That's how little I care about that league and how I care about other teams. Like I'm a European soccer guy. I watch Real Madrid, Liverpool. I might watch a little bit of Man City, but I pretty much stick to my teams. Like, so that's just what it is. I'm not gonna go out of my way to find out and see his highlights for AFC. If he could play for Ajax, for all I know, I don't fucking know. I have no clue whatsoever. I just know he was better than every player we had on our side, and he was fat. Like, for a soccer player, right? Like, I'm just saying. He had, everybody else had a small shirt. He had an extra large shirt. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I'm fat. I'm very open. You can see me right now. It is what it is. I can call it what I see. For a soccer player, he was a little bit heavy. And he killed us. He nutmegged the shit out of Sergino Dest, who I hope doesn't go play for the Netherlands. But let's take a second and look at the Netherlands. If you looked at them, they got a solid team. So, I don't know. Maybe he'll stay with us out of necessity because I don't know if he'll get actual playing time, because I don't know if he'll get that playing time with the Netherlands. So, yeah, man. So, that was tough to watch. We lost 3-0 in that game, and it could have been worse. Like, it just – and then you started thinking about the fact that Mexico's coach could have been our coach, but we didn't even interview him because he didn't speak English, which is stupid. Like, soccer's an international sport. We have players that don't really speak English on our side that are like German Americans. So that whole argument doesn't hold much weight to me. Like, I don't get it. Like, he could speak some broken English and communicate with his players just the same. And maybe you could get an assistant coach who could speak clear English but also speak Spanish. Like, this is the guy that coached fucking at Barcelona. Like, come on, bro. Like, you don't even give this guy an interview? Ugh. Whatever, man. It was fucking ridiculous. And then Saturday. Saturday at 8 o'clock. The Hurricanes. My Miami Hurricanes. You see it right there. Played University of North Carolina in football. We had 500 yards on offense. 2 missed field goals and a missed extra point, and we lost by 3. Sunday I was kind of wrecked. I was in a terrible mood. I went to sleep late. I started watching like cartoons, like Dragon Ball Super. Shout out to Dragon Ball Super, by the way. That shit is amazing, and also, fuck, does it take forever for one fight to conclude? Jesus, like, I gotta watch 8 episodes for one kick to connect. Like, good God, man, it's a whole lot of shaking and shit. If you're listening to this on audio, that was like me giving my interpretation of what anime is with Dragon Ball Z. There's a whole lot of shaking, and like panting and shit. It's just very weird. So, yeah, man. So Miami, it's hard for me to say this because I don't want to overreact, right? But it's also been, let me see, 15, 16 years really since Miami's been in like true combat. Like, I know we had 2017 where I guess if we don't lose to Pittsburgh and kind of show up against Clemson, we're in the college football playoff. That's a whole lot of ifs that I don't want to get into. Like, that's just not fun. Like, because then you're just living in what could have been and not realizing what was. But besides that, we're kind of pretty much an average football team for the last 15 to 18 years. So I know 2002 we're in the national championship, lost to Ohio State, and after that we've had one game or another each year that like is a demoralizing victory. And it's weird because in college, like, you have a 3 to 4 year turnaround with players, right? And since then we've had Randy Shannon. Let me see, Larry Coker, Randy Shannon, Al Golden, Mark Richt, and now Manny Diaz. So that's 5 coaches in the last 15 to 18 years. So let's say so it's about the same turnaround, right? We don't even graduate our coaches. Like, we just let them go at 3 to 4 years. Maybe if they leave as a redshirt junior, but it's not like they go on to do bigger and better things. Larry Coker, where's he at? I think he might be at University of Texas San Antonio, like developing there. I don't even know if he's still there because that's the last thing. Al Golden is in Detroit, I think. Yeah, we talked about it with Cam in Detroit. And then you have Randy Shannon, which maybe he's still at Florida. Like, I don't hear about, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not like they've gone on to like develop other teams and win there. So haven't really had. We had Mark Richt, which was on the back nine of his career. I already talked about that, coming to Miami from Georgia, and you didn't want to fire his son. I get it. And now we got Manny Diaz, and for the first time in 40 years, right? 41 actually, since 1978. 41 years that the University of Miami is 0-2. And I don't want to give moral victories, because you play 5, you give up like 470 yards on offense to a team that has a true freshman quarterback. You get burned on defense several times by corners that are supposed to be average to above average from all accounts. And it's just, you kind of start going with like maybe we're just an average football team. Like maybe the thoughts of 11-1, 10-2 are a bit of a stretch as of right now. Right? Like, I don't want to overreact to the 0-2 because we do have a favorable schedule. But maybe there is that part where, like, we're not much better than the teams we're playing against. Or maybe we don't have the heart to beat teams that we should. Like, there's something missing. And I started to realize it, and because I rewatched that game, too, on Sunday when I was emotionally a little bit better because I was so angry about that fucking game. Because I couldn't believe that we lost to North Carolina again. We've lost to them in the past a couple different times. I was actually at one of the games when they lost to them, back when they had Mitch Trubisky before he went to Chicago. Saw that game with my boy Danny and my wife and his wife, and we lost that game. Like, we've lost to North Carolina before. I think, and we've got blown out by North Carolina, I think, the year after that. So we've lost to North Carolina several times. So it's not, but it's just this thing where you get hyped, like, oh man, we played bad against Florida, but we lost by 4. But we played a lot better against North Carolina, but we lost by 3. Gave up a 4th and 17, which is the most ridiculous. Like, that's the most. How do I say this? That's the thing that pissed me off the most, is just like, you're not used to seeing that being completed against Miami if I'm living in the past, which I am, right? Like, let's just be real. 2001, 2002 is like how I grade every team of Miami since, and maybe that's my fault. You know what I mean? Maybe I got to be more realistic and realize that we have if I want to be positive about it, we have a quarterback now. Jarren Williams is that guy. As far as filling up the stats, like, I think there's that leader on offense that's obviously DJ Dallas, but maybe we're too young. Like, we don't have that leader that, like, brings everything together, right? Like, you see DJ Dallas playing his heart out. You see Jarren Williams connecting on 30 or 39 passes for over 300 yards, but there isn't that fire, like, let's go, motherfuckers, that riles them up, that brings it all together. It feels like that's the thing that's missing. Like, there's that, they have heart, but they're missing the heartbeat, if that makes any sense. Like, I know that might sound crazy. I don't even know if that makes sense, honestly. But, like, they're missing that extra oomph that makes me think, like, yo, we're about to smack you in the motherfucking mouth. Like, they'll make plays, but it doesn't have the same sound or the same effect as, like, when they put on that turnover chain. And then that turnover chain is also a cautious thing too, right? Because the other team wants to smack you in the motherfucking mouth too. So you have to get up for their get up. You have to hit harder than they're gonna hit you. You can't expect anybody to be like, yo, to roll over because you're Miami. That doesn't happen anymore. That hasn't happened in a very long time. Miami hasn't really dominated in a long time, man. Like, I mean on both sides of the ball. We got a young offensive line. Our defensive line doesn't put as much pressure as it did the year before. I mean, we lost 3 starters, for God's sakes. So we're bringing in new starters with John Garvin, John Ford, and all these different guys. Gregory Rousseau needs to put a little bit more weight on. Scott Patchen, shout out to him, great energy. But we need them to get going a little harder. Secondary needs more experience. Amari Carter can't be getting kicked out of the game in the first or second quarter for targeting. Like, all these things are just, there isn't that thing that brings them together the way they should be. Like, it feels like there's that one spark missing, that one thing missing that'll really get them rolling. Because they're barely losing these games, but they're losing games that they shouldn't have lost. They could just as easily be 2-0. But it would almost be a fake or false 2-0 because they barely escaped games that they were kind of in control of for the majority of those games other than you take away the first 6 minutes against UNC and the last 6 minutes, which again, I'm living in the if world, right? Like, let's be real. This is what it is. You take away those 12 minutes, for those other 48 minutes, Miami was the better football team. But we can't close it out. Can't close it out against Florida. Like, that's what separates you from being from a average, good to great football team. Right now, we're below average. We're 0-2. Like, we're not. We should be 2-2 with these next two games, but who knows? Like, I don't know what's the psyche of the players going into these games. Like, how are the coaches feeling? Do they feel the pressure of 0-2, or they're thinking, oh, we're right there. We just got to break through. There's that one thing. Like, what's stopping them in that aspect of it? Like, I could talk about this till I'm blue in the face, but I'm just a guy making a podcast. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the guy on the field. I'm not the coaches. Like, that's the level that I never got to. Like, straight up the truth, I quit football one practice after crab walks. It was a wrap for me, man. Like, I was 16 years old. I was like, nope, this isn't for me. So I'm not criticizing. I'm just wondering what we are, and I'm trying to figure that out. Are we a team that's 7-6 is more realistic from last year, or are we the team that 2 years ago was 10-3? Are we the team that's going to answer back critics, or are we the team that's going to fold? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and it'll be falsely answered these next 2 weeks, because playing Bethune-Cookman in our homecoming game, this is our first home game of the season, and then we got Central Michigan the week after that, which is that gimmicky offense that'll probably give us a little bit of problems. And I know they're not that good this season, but that's a game that worries me too, because I don't know what Miami's going to show up, man. I really don't. Like, are we going to be the team that smacks you in the mouth, or are we going to be the team that reacts too late and barely pulls out a victory, or ends up getting another loss? Like, this is a sketchy year, and this is a schedule that was very favorable from the beginning. Like, if you looked at the schedule, you're thinking, yo, fuck it, man, 11-1. If you 11-1, maybe we go into the conference championship, finally for the second time, and figuring it out. And I mean, I don't think we're beating Clemson. We can't even beat North Carolina, but at least be competitive and make strides. Are we a better football team than last year? Like, this is a team that destroyed North Carolina last year. It was a totally different team, totally different coaching staff. They were feeding off that energy of Mac Brown. These are things that I guess in the back of my mind I was nervous about going into the game, but I was like, like hindsight being 2020, you think of it like, man, we took a week off and we had a subpar game against Florida with 14 penalties, 10 sacks, Jaron Williams holding on to the ball too long, and you don't have a Bethune. Like, I think it would have been a different performance if we had Bethune-Cookman before North Carolina, because then you kind of work out the kinks, and then you go into it with more plays under your belt. But we weren't afforded that, and I'm not making any excuses. We lost, but the schedule now opens up a little bit, and it's a little bit better, and it doesn't really get hard till October when we play Virginia Tech, and maybe we pull it out and hope North Carolina and that true freshman comes kind of back to earth and has a couple losses, and we kind of went out, and we go into that ACC championship game against Clemson, and who knows what could happen. But nah, I'm not gonna be that guy. Be like, yo, we're gonna crush Clemson. I'm not that guy, man. And don't for a second think that, like, because I'm criticizing or I have questions on my team, that my loyalty is different. That doesn't change. I'm fucking gang green and orange forever. Like, that's never gonna change. This is a team. This is my heartbeat. This is the one that my wife looks at me like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you acting like this? You kind of acting like a bitch because of the way because that's just a team that's my heart, man. That's the team that I ride with. I watch every game. I've watched games at a wedding, you know what I mean, on my phone. Like, that's the team I ride with forever. So just because I criticize it or question it never changes my loyalty. I'm going to ride with them if they're 1-10, 10-1, 13-0. It doesn't matter. I ride with them regardless. And I'll watch every game. I'm never going to be a guy that flies a banner over it. I'll hate watch if things aren't going well. And be like, yo, what the fuck happened to my team? But I'm never leaving them. Maybe it's a unhealthy relationship. Maybe I'm a beaten partner in a domestic violence situation. But they've also never, I don't know. They've just always been my team. That's my team overall in every sport forever. And it could be worse. I could be a Dolphins fan. You know what I mean? All right, guys. That's it for today, man. A hot 25. I'll holla at y'all next time, man. Peace. Oh, yeah. As always, like, share, and subscribe. You can find me on everything. Stitcher Radio, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud. And for those of you that listen on audio, I'm gonna give y'all something special. It's a breakdown of my brother, drunk as fuck, telling the story of how he hooked up his boy with a chick that only spoke Japanese, and his boy, I think, spoke Vietnamese. I don't know how that worked out, man. Y'all check it out. Peace.